Namaste. How are you guys doing? Good, I hope. Very well, I hope. I trust. So, today I am Upasna Suhail Kapadia, as you know, and I want to introduce you to that guy, that handsome guy that you can see. That is Suhail Kapadia, my husband, who is not in the physical but very much around me and very much wanted to be in the frame, which he is. Okay, so I've done my bit. I call him Swallow. So you're in the frame. Okay, so today I wanted to start by telling you a little story. There was this Sufi sheikh in Baghdad, and he was a Sufi master. He had a lot of students, murids they are called, and the master is called the murshid, and the students are called murids. So this sheikh had this one habit where he would every day give away every single bit of money that he had. He would donate freely to the needy, he would give them food, he would give whatever it is that was needed. This went on, but as a result, what happened was that obviously to help the needy, because he's a sheikh and they only get along on donations, he would need to keep borrowing money, you know. So the people that he borrowed from were the rich of the city, right? And they all supported him because they all wanted to be on good terms with the sheikh. You know, he was a man of considerable influence, right, amongst the common folk who were their clients. Is this my phone is slipping? I think. Okay. So it's trying to do some tricky thing. Okay. So, bottom line, Sheikh started getting older with time, obviously. So now these creditors started wondering, is he going to be able to pay us back, because he's borrowing constantly, but he's getting older and infirm. How is he going to pay us back? But none of them had the guts to stop giving him the money, because, like I said, they did not want to displease their clients by stopping patronizing the sheikh. So this went on. Now, one day, the sheikh calls all his students, and prior to that, he had been keeping unwell. So one day he calls his students and he says that I want you to take my bed and I want you to keep it in the khanka. The khanka is a place where they sit to meet, where they pray, where the sheikh gives discourses, where all the murids sit, and even the ones in the people from the town who want to come and hear his discourses can come in and sit and listen in. So he says, I want you to place my cot in the khanka because I am going to pass away and I want to be in the most blessed space of this area. So that his students take the cot, they place it there, and he lays himself down on it and he says, my time has come, and I want to, this is where I want to be when I take my last breath. Now, as this happens, obviously the students start panicking, right? And then the news spreads all over the city that Sheikh Saab is going to pass over, And obviously, when this reaches the ears of his creditors, they all start panicking. I mean, how is he? We want our monies. So, what happens is, as a result, all the students have now gathered around the sheikh, around his bed. That he's going to pass over, so let's hear his last words of wisdom and what he has to say to us. But at the same time, all the creditors also landed up. So they've also crowded that room now. And the Sheikh Saab is, resting, internally praying, giving some instruction to one of the students. and the creditors are now starting to get restless amongst themselves, and they start asking one another, okay, how much did he borrow from you? So one guy says 800 dinars, another guy says 600 dinars, somebody says something else. So now their minds are ticking and they're thinking, oh, he borrowed 800 from him, so he could have easily paid me back, but he came to borrow from me also, and he's borrowed from that third guy and the fourth guy and the fifth guy. So now how are we going to get our monies back? And they were all talking amongst themselves, and so as a result the agitation in them increased, so their voices also became louder. So the sheikh called one of his students and said, like, who are these guys and why have they said they are all your creditors, you know so he said, but why are they making such a noise? So he said, no, because they've all come here for, in the hope that they'll get their payment before you go, they want to be repaid. So he said, repayment is in God's hands, he is alim, he will pay them. So the student, he said, go and tell them that. So the student goes and he tells them that this is what the sheikh has said, okay, the repayment is in Allah's hands. And on hearing this, they get into an uproar and say, Allah's hands, that means you never intended to pay us back, and this was all a sham, and this you are not a sheikh at all, you're a imposter, you're a fake. And they started making a racket. Whilst they were doing this, suddenly a voice could be heard of halwa, halwa, halwa. So the sheikh called his student and he said, what is this I am hearing? Who is this? So they said, that's a boy selling halwa. So he said, please ask him to come in, I want to eat some halwa before I die. So they call the boy, and the boy comes in and he's got a little platter, and he brings a platter. Sheikh tells him, come here closer to me, bring the platter, let me see. So he has got this nice cloth on top of the platter. He opens it and Sheikh takes a look, he sees a halwa and he says, okay, how much is it for? So he says, it's for 1 dirham. So he says, I will not give you 1 dirham, I will give you half. So now this little boy knows that if I don't agree to half and I go back with my halwa unsold, I'll get into trouble. So he said, okay, it's my last tray anyway, so I'll give it to you for half. So he gives it to him. He gives it to them, and they open it, and the sheikh says, distribute it to everybody. And whilst they've done that, the little boy now says, okay, it's time for my payment, So that sheikh says, who said anything about payment? I didn't say that I'm going to pay you. And the little boy starts crying and screaming and saying, how can you do this? And all you Sufis are like robbers, and you all are imposters. And he also starts getting into a uproar, and hearing this now, to those guys to go even more crazy, the creditors, So it's like one big uproar happening in that room, and now even his students have started panicking amongst themselves, because they are all wondering now, okay, if he doesn't have any money at all, he doesn't have half a dirham also to pay this halwa boy, how are we going to continue? How will we continue this lodge? How will we continue this work? And so now they are panicking amongst themselves, and there's unrest generally in the room. While all this is happening, suddenly there's somebody knocking and saying, may I come in a very loud voice. So everybody kind of stops and looks towards the door, and there they see that there's this messenger standing there. So they also had like these, like we have courier services, right? So they had couriers, they were called messengers in those days. So this messenger, and he's standing there, and he's got this platter in his hand. It's a beautiful silver platter, and it's covered with a beautiful cloth. So everyone stops, and then one of the students goes up to him and says, yes. So he says, who is the sheikh here? So they point to the sheikh on the bed and say, that is our murshid, he is our master. So he says that I have been given something that needs to be presented to him, it is for him. So they lead him to the sheikh. When they lead him to the sheikh, he says that some man came and gave this to me and said, give this to the sheikh, and so I have brought it to you. And then he takes the cloth that was covering the platter and he removes it. When he removes it, they see that there is one cloth bag which is pretty huge and heavy, and there's another cloth bag like a pouch which is a small one. So the sheikh says, okay, open the bag, let us see what's in it. When they open the bag, they see that it's full of gold dinars, and so many dinars that all the creditors can be paid off, and at the same time this lodge can also go on very beautifully for a while after the sheikh has gone. So then he says, open the smaller one, what is in that? And they open the smaller one, and in that is half a dirham, which is what was needed to pay the halwa boy. So the sheikh says, okay, take the gold, distribute it among the creditors and keep the rest. Give the half dirham to the little boy, the halwa boy. But everyone is completely stumped now, okay? And they're like, okay, gold dirhams, I mean, it's a miracle, right, that everyone is getting paid. But half a dirham, how did whoever it is know that this was needed, right? So suddenly now all the creditors have changed their tune, and they're like, no, we always knew that you would pay us, you know, you're a man of God. And suddenly everyone's tune changes. But of course everyone is curious, and they're saying like, but how could this have happened? I mean, the half dirham is too mind boggling. So then the sheikh explains, and he says, you know, all of you were crying for your money, right? But whose cry, because you all are rich people, even if I had gone with your debt on my head, your lives would have still continued in the same manner, because you are so rich. But the one whose cry was pure, the one whose cry was genuine, was the halwa boy, because he was so scared that he would get beaten up by his boss when he goes back. He won't get food to eat, you know, because he hasn't brought the payment for the halwa. So he said Allah heard his prayer, you know. So what is the moral of the story? The moral of the story is that when you are, or in anybody, when you sit to pray, let it be a prayer that really comes from your heart, a prayer that makes you feel like you are at one mint with the universe, that makes you feel like you are at one mint with whoever it is that you are worshipping, whoever it is that you may be calling upon, you know. Saying something just by rote or just in a ritualistic manner, again, the same thing applies when I speak to you of vibration and frequency. It is the same thing that applies here also in prayer. The prayer has to be of a level of, like I said, really connecting. The more that you are really connecting, automatically your frequency is rising, na? Your vibrations are becoming higher, right? At that moment you're connected to the Almighty, you know, which is why in these times now more than ever, find your own way, find what works for you, you know. Just sit and have conversations with the divine on your own. You don't need to sit down and, I mean, if that's your way, of course, so be it. I'm not trying to, stop you from doing things which you've been doing for years, but I'm just saying that try to inculcate one more new practice, and that is connecting. Like I keep telling you, place one hand on your heart. This is where the divine lives. Place your hand on your heart, take deep breaths and connect with the one, and then say whatever it is that you want to say, and then see how you feel, as opposed to everything else that you have been doing. God bless you. I'm sure that you all have been connecting beautifully to the divine. I'm just asking you to try one more method. So this was basically the moral of the story, that the more we are connected, the more we are genuine. See, they say na that children are pure, right? बोलते हैं ना कि बच्चे जब प्रे करते हैं तो God listens to them. When children pray, God listens to them because they are so pure. And why are they so pure? Because they have still not gotten clouded, they have still not gotten kind of diseased with all the info, all the conditioning, all the beliefs that society puts upon us. Their connection is still closer because they're still new. Their advent on this planet is still of years that are less than ours, right? So that much of feeding has not gone into them. They're still cleaner, and they still have remembrance and memory of what it is, to be at 1 minute. So that was my little story for the day, and that's my little advice to you. Please try and be in the flow, try and be in connection, and of course gratitude to everyone who's been asking me, when is your next video coming out. Yesterday was not possible for me. My attempt is during this period of time to do as many of these as I can for you, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. Life, when it comes back to, I won't say normal, when it comes back to another level, and let it be a super normal level, so when it comes back there, we don't know what paths are going to unfold for each of us. So right now it is my attempt to assist you during this period, to help you to keep your vibes up, to help you to keep the hope up, to keep the trust up, the faith up. That is my attempt. And so again, thank you to everybody. I want to say a thank you to, I was pretty tickled because I saw one of my gurus, he's called Dr. Hitesh Guruji, had liked one of my videos. So I am in gratitude to him, because he is a master who is, I mean, his knowledge is beyond this world. He is so elevated and enlightened, and I was so thrilled that he liked one of my videos. Whether he saw it or he didn't see it is irrelevant for me. It's enough that he just put his thumbs up ka stamp on it. So gratitude to you, Hitesh Guruji. Joy Ma, Joy Gurudev. And please, yes guys, do share my videos if you like them, and please like them, tap on the bell icon, subscribe, because like I said, that's going to help sustain the channel. So we'll be back tomorrow with, inshallah, something new that I can assist you with. And please, I would also like to clarify that I am not sitting here to take over anybody's what life as their personal guru or their personal anything. This is something that God asked me to do, and I am doing it. I was posting messages on Facebook anyways, right? And like I said, typing for me is difficult. I cannot type, so easily. It takes me, like, how much time it's taken me to do this message, it would have taken me double in typing, right? So I found this faster for these times. and also it works for me because I am also busy with the home and having to handle everything. So please continue with whatever your beliefs are. Like I always say, whoever you're in, please continue with invoking whoever you feel close to, whoever makes you feel good, who you've been connected to all these years. Please continue with that. You know, I am just here to assist you and kind of bolster you during this period. I am just here to cushion you a little bit and let you feel and know that you are not alone, that you are loved, that the divine just absolutely loves and adores you. All right. So, once again, loads of love, loads of blessings. Keep smiling. Namaste.